Welcome back. All right, bit of a news of the day video. Should be quick for all you fine people on the internet to start things off for Monday. It is June the 9th. Starting off at the top of the board, and this was just an item today that I thought I'd throw onto the news of the day board, and just, hey, this is a message from me to the Utah Mammoth. I don't have a Mammoth magnet yet, but as you can see, I'm starting to get Mammoth stuff, including the can koozie you see here, through the NHL shop. So as Mammoth stuff gets released, there's no jerseys yet to speak of, but I'm waiting on that. They do have fun hats. I have the one hat so far for Utah. There is another one now that they have available, so there's slowly merch being released. But the topic of goal songs was being discussed this morning between the wife and I, and we agreed between the two of us that Tusk by Fleetwood Mac would be the absolute best song for them to use, since they're using Tusk's Up as their catchphrase and everything. So why not Tusk by Fleetwood Mac? It's a good bop. You can picture the whole crowd dancing to it. If you don't know the song, go look it up. It's a great song. And Fleetwood Mac, right? This classic. So yeah, I thought I'd throw that on the board and have that discussion point to start the day. So as we get ready for free agency, now we can look back and ask some questions. And I think in the case of Mitch Marner, if Marner's walking away and if he's going to go to the unrestricted free agent market, and at this point it looks like he will. So I'm wearing the Marner Leafs jersey now while I can, because after July 1st, I may need a different Leafs jersey. But Vegas was interested apparently in Marner. And there was a potential for a three-way trade that would have involved Carolina as well. And that fell through. That's being reported on today. And of course, it came out shortly after the trade deadline that Marner had declined to waive in order to be traded to Carolina in a deal that would have involved Mikko Rantanen going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it is an interesting time in the National Hockey League. There will certainly be a lot of discussion about what Toronto could have done, might have done, and maybe should have done. And so that's the discussion point that's out there. And then the other one, and I think this is a valid question to ask, is even though Vegas doesn't have the cap space, will they be looking to add Mitch Marner? The Vegas Golden Knights have not been shy about when a player is available that they covet, they will do whatever they have to get that player, including buying out contracts, trading guys for nothing, just freeing up whatever money they can, and then they go out and get their players. So keep an eye on Vegas. They may be a team to watch for trades ahead of July the 1st. I think we're in for a very busy little flurry of time, probably right before the actual draft takes place. And maybe that couple of days between the draft and free agency, I think are going to be pretty hectic. So I'll be here. We'll discuss. We'll go through it when it all takes place. But it does look like Marner's going to be going to market. And then the question becomes, should they have got something for him at the trade deadline? Should they have worked harder on trading him than what they did? Or did they do the right thing? They still got to the second round. They barely lost against Vegas. In terms of games, in Game 7, it wasn't a barely, but in terms of games, they lost in 7. So did Toronto make the right decision, or should they have worked harder on moving Mitch Marner before the deadline? And that question is out there. There's always the chance, too, that Toronto trades his rights between now and July the 1st. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if that happens, but don't have high expectations for what you get for those rights. It's usually like a 4th or a 5th round draft pick or something in that region that a team gets for the negotiating rights with the player prior to July the 1st. So the Calder Cup final is set after last night's win by Abbotsford. The Calder Cup final will start on Friday in Charlotte. Interestingly enough, of course, the Charlotte Checkers are the AHL team of the Florida Panthers. They are the first team since Pittsburgh in 2008 to have a Calder finalist and a Stanley Cup finalist in their organization at the same time. Games 3 through 5 will be here in Abbotsford on June 17th, 19th, and 21st. And the Stanley Cup schedule conflicts on the July 7th, or June. It feels like hockey's just 12 months a year now, doesn't it? The June 17th game I won't be able to attend. That's Game 3 due to the fact that the Stanley Cup final is on that night as well. But I should be able to go on the 19th and the 21st. So we're season ticket holders. Yvonne's contacted the guy that we have through the Vancouver Canucks. And so I will be going to, at the very least, games 4 and 5. Maybe I see a Calder Cup awarded. And the interesting thing is, even let's just go down that rabbit hole and say Charlotte keeps playing the way they've been playing in these playoffs and they destroy Abbotsford. I still think it would be amazing to watch a trophy being awarded like that, a championship trophy being awarded. I've never seen that. Like last night, that's the first time I've watched a playoff game where a team wins a round in my lifetime that I can remember. I don't think I ever watched the Chilliwack Chiefs way back in the 80s win a series game. I don't remember that, so I don't think I did. I know I went to a bunch of Chilliwack Chiefs games also maybe, but I don't think so. So yeah, that should be fun, and yeah, it should be great. And it was nice seeing some subscribers last night too, and I always enjoy that, running into some subscribers, including one that I just keep running into. I sat next to him at the Evanescence concert, and now at every Abbotsford game, it seems I run into him when I'm there. So there you go. But tonight, Stanley Cup Final, Game 3 in Sunrise at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. We get back at it. AJ Greer's back in the lineup for Florida. Jesper Boquist is out. I have never seen so much talk about AJ Greer. I never have. AJ Greer has gone through a relatively long career as a fourth liner, and I mean, at times I've had him on the board maybe for injury, but with how we go over everything in the Stanley Cup Final, his name's on the board often. So that's how important the Stanley Cup Final gets. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, speaking of important, he's considered to be a game-time decision, and just the way they're talking about it, I don't think he's playing. I don't. Also, the media talking about Jeff Skinner, and Jeff Skinner's working really hard today. And of course, he would be just in case Nugent-Hopkins isn't going to play, but I get the feeling he may not. And if he doesn't play for Edmonton, that's a huge, huge difference in their top six. And it is going to be very difficult for the Oilers to contain that Florida attack. There was also discussions about how Barkov doesn't have any points in this final, and he's a -4. Because part of that is going to be because Edmonton gets last change in Edmonton. I would expect Barkov's numbers to be better in Florida. Trying to contain McDavid and Draisaitl is very difficult. And I think Barkov's doing the best he can in this final. I would expect his numbers to get better in Florida. The Oilers have to win at least one of the two games in Florida, or we could be looking at that series potentially being over in 5. So at any rate, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Who do you think's going to win tonight? Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Really looking forward to the Calder Cup. I think that's a great, and nobody expected this. The Abbotsford Canucks were a good team this year, but I don't think anybody expected to run all the way to the final. So I really feel like they're playing with house money. And I will say this, because it's a question that's been asked here and there by Canuck fans mostly, but the question of whether or not that I would feel that the Canucks might have made a mistake in not giving Malhotra the head coaching job. I understand the reasoning behind Adam Foote getting that head coaching job. I do think the Canucks could absolutely regret not hiring Manny Malhotra, because I think the guy's going to be a very good National Hockey League head coach at some point. And that may very well happen with another organization if there's no path forward to him becoming the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. He's a smart coach. The Canucks were down 2-0 last night. They didn't have much going against Texas, and then they adapted, and then the third period they controlled that game. That's some good coaching. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.